real different biscuit over there. My first night in country was the worst.
Really?
Yeah. You fly on a 707. That was the most modern airliner at the time with stewardesses and everything, And we landed in Cameron Bay. And they said, okay, boys, this is Cameron Bay. This is the biggest American base in South Vietnam. It's the safest place we got. LBJ himself was here. I said, okay. They said, go to bed in these barracks. And you'll be safe tonight. You don't need a weapon tonight. Nothing's going to happen. So I'm on the second floor of these, we call them hooches. That's what we lived in, was hooches in base camp. And the wall only goes up halfway and then it's screened because you don't need insulation, it never gets cold. I was on the second floor of this hooch. And I'm laying there in my cot in my brand new green underwear, and I can't sleep because it's so hot and it stinks, and I'm scared, and I hear what I think is thunder off in the distance, and it keeps getting louder and closer, and I figured it out finally. It's not thunder, it's rockets and mortars. So the first night I get to Vietnam, Charlie, the enemy, Mr. Charles, the Viet Cong, decide that they're going to attack Cameron Bay. And they did. They attacked it big time. And by the time I figured it out, all these other new guys had figured it out before I did, and they ran out there and got in the bunker. We had these bunkers everywhere where you could get in there to not get shrapnel from the rockets and mortars flying around. And all these new guys, these replacements, are all in there, like sardines. And there's no room for me to get in at all. I mean, the last ones are like hanging out the door. So I'm looking around, and the ammo dump's blowing up, and everything is just going sky high. And I said, my goodness, if this is the safest place they got, I'll never make it here. And so all I could do was get them. They had these sandbag walls around the hooches that were about this high. And I jumped down behind that sandbag wall and ate dirt and gave my soul up to Jesus. It said, Jesus, just get me through this and I'll be your man. And sappers, you know what sappers are? Mm-hmm. Sappers, they strip down to a breechcloth, and that's all they're wearing, and they're carrying these canvas bags full of plastic explosive, and they run up and down the street throwing those plastic explosive charges into buildings and stuff and blowing them up. And they thought it was so safe at Cameron Bay that the sentries didn't even have ammunition for their M14s. They were carrying M14s there, which was the older main battle rifle. They didn't have M16s. But anyway, they didn't have any bullets at all, no cartridges, because they thought it was so safe. It was just for show to have that rifle. So they couldn't shoot the sappers. They couldn't do anything. They were like me. They were helpless. They blew up a hospital a little ways over, and those guys were laying in there. They couldn't jump up and run out and save themselves or get away or anything. I think they killed like 33 in that hospital. But that was the worst night. The first night was the worst night. And the next day, they flew me up to Pleiku, the Central Highlands, to the 4th Infantry Division. And I get to the 4th Infantry Division. I'm a